Czar, I'm back. This is the recap show for Saturday, December 11th, and I'm going to also do some picks for Sunday here tonight. But let's recap a little bit of what happened on Saturday with our picks. Computer went 52 and 40 with a 56.52 winning percentage, and we hit three money line plays. So not outstanding, but not horrible. There's still light on the data, but I see. I take that as encouraging, just because we were turning in some rather poor performances. Let me recap a little bit here. We started out in the 50s, and then boom, we shot right up in the 70s on a really light night. Only 22 games, we won 77% of them. That's what I'm looking for. That's something to get excited about. That's something we're having a show over. Dipped down into the 60s, and then some strange things started happening. Got way down here, got under 500, and then we were consistently poor. And then Friday came back to 500, and then tonight with all the games got above 56%. So our goal really right now is to be around 60% winning percentage, and we're just under it. So I mentioned in a previous show that I noticed that Vegas was relying heavily on the home court advantage, and we did a little science project. I want to talk about that real quick. These are the picks from Saturday, and you can see the yellow are wins and the reds are losses. So the computer just runs a prediction, and then we compare it to the Vegas line, and we make our pick. In this case, it was Auburn. And the computer said Auburn would win by 25. Vegas line was 13 and a half. So we selected Auburn, and they did. They covered the line. They won by 31. And then opposite here, we had BYU beating Creighton. Line was 5.5, and Creighton won the game. So that's a bad play. But we did have some money lines, and I'll point these out real quick. And the money lines, just in case you don't know, is when you're betting the underdog to win the game. So these things, the deck is already stacked against you because you're betting the underdog. And so you don't hit these. These are kind of rare. But we hit 3 tonight. So, out of 92 games, it's a pretty good clip. So Abilene Christian only had 4 finals. We didn't know a ton about them. They were home to Drexel. And I can kind of see why Vegas plays the home court advantage up, because Drexel's got decent numbers. Just didn't know much about Abilene, but the computer did come up with a prediction of a 2-point Abilene Christian victory, and the line had Drexel laying 4.5 on the road to Abilene. So we selected Abilene to win, and they did, and it got close on the actual score versus the final or the predicted score for Abilene Christian's point total, but this was way off. So this tells me we're not quite in tune with the real world yet, but we're getting close. So that's a money line win, and we're going to take that one. Similar situation here with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Oh my God, I don't know why Omaha is laying points to anybody because they got a lot of work to do. But they were hosting Texas A&M Corpus Christi. The computer said 24 points, and Vegas was on the other side and was giving them, the Islanders they were giving them half a point. So we played it as a money line, and we hit. And finally down here, Cal Poly was on the road and they were in Portland playing Portland State. And if you're a home team, man, you're giving up points according to Vegas. That's just how it works. So Vegas had 5.5 the line. Portland State given Cal Poly. Computer said Cal Poly would win the game. So we played Cal Poly at a money line play, and we won. So we went 3. We had some others that didn't convert, but we get 3 to crossover, and we're happy about that. Now, like I said, the computer went 52 and 40 on the night, and I've been doing a science experiment that I call science project, science experiment. What I'm doing is I'm giving the home team 3 additional points every game. and keeping the same computer pick and keeping the same Vegas line, but giving 3 points to the home team. I guess I'm not keeping the computer pick. I'm adding 3 points to it. And I wanted to see, first off, how many picks would that flip? And it flipped a number of them. And of those that flipped, how many flipped good and how many flipped bad? And then I didn't realize it, but there was a third category I didn't consider called flip neutral. We already had them as the dog. Well, when we added the points, it made him the favorite. Well, we already had him as the dog, so it's a flip neutral. We won regardless. So, but there were some bad flips. So this went the other direction. We had a winning play, and then when we added the points, it ended up being a loss. This was the opposite. We had it as a loss, and then the 3 points would have helped us. So I think there was 6 bad flips and 7 good flips if I went through and counted them all, which makes sense because doing it this way was a 1-game improvement. This would have netted us 1 additional game, 53-39. And so the question is, do I use this as the method of selecting the picks in the future or not? And the jury is still out. So we've done this 3 nights now. The first night it flipped 2 in our direction, and the second night it flipped 1 game in our direction. And I was really hoping to get a really strong number here, but just 1 game out of 92 flips. So the science project continues, and I'll have on that here in a little bit. That's what it looked like on Saturday. Really no sense in going through and breaking them all down. I did it on a previous show, but 92 games, a lot to go through. But these are the picks for Sunday, and still some raw stuff. I don't have lines on a couple of these games, so but I have updated the computer with all the information that went in on Saturday, and have made the selections for the lines that I do. We'll go through these. So Miami of Florida at a neutral court playing Fordham. We say Miami wins by 4. The line is 7.5, so we're taking the dog here. We're taking Fordham. St. John's at home to Colgate. This is a straight up play. We don't add any points up here. This is what I'm calling the traditional method. Vegas says 6.5. Computer says St. John's wins by 12, so we're playing St. John's. South Carolina hosting Florida State. The computer said Florida State on the road wins by 4.5, and Vegas is giving South Carolina 6.5. Very rare for Vegas to give points to the home team, but they did it here, and it made a big difference. We're keeping those points. We're playing the dog here. We're saying South Carolina. Everything forward from here, I hope I'm not mistaken, it is a win and a cover for the favorite, and it's a little bit too much. I'm getting a little spooked out, with the exception of a money line play or 2, which we'll cover. So Indiana on the road, or Indiana hosting Merrimack, who just played Gonzaga. Now they're playing Indiana. Got beat by Gonzaga. See if I can't call them up real quick. They're in the Northeast Conference, and they lost to Gonzaga 80-55. So what is that? 25 points. So just a good gauge to look at when they're playing another monster here in Indiana. So Vegas says 19.5. Computer says 28. We're going to take Indiana here to win and cover, as we are all these other games. Davidson on the road to Northeastern. We say 15. Vegas giving Davidson Northeastern 2.5. And again, rare. So Davidson's our play. Fairfield, who I like a lot, and William & Mary is really, really struggling. I mean, they're just not doing well. So Fairfield is actually playing some pretty good basketball. Computer says 24. Vegas says 6.5, so it's a play for Fairfield here. I don't care what this number would have been. I was going to take Iowa State because, man, are they really good. And, Jackson State plays in the Southwest Athletic Conference, the SWAC. And, every team in that conference is just, not good. And Jackson State's one of the better teams in that conference. And they're still Computer says going to get beat by 33 to a white hot Iowa State. That team is just on fire. So, okay, 17 and a half, sure. You could have put any number up there. I mean, the computer was still going to outpace it. So Iowa State's the play here. We've got no line on Akron and Florida A&M yet. Loyola of Maryland hosting Hampton. Vegas says 7.5. Computer says 13. So we're taking Loyola of Maryland. Navy on the road to Marist. Computer says 11. Vegas given 3.5. Navy wins and covers. Charleston, the line is 9.5. Computer says 17. So Charleston's our play. Purdue coming off a loss. I'd like to be North Carolina State. you get this monster coming off of a loss. The line is 13.5. This is at a neutral court, and it's actually kind of a slim play here, but Purdue does win and cover here. Virginia Tech, this was hard because I really like Dayton. Dayton is just they got some fight in that team, man. They won't rest until they get right back in the game when they get knocked down. But Vodtek's just got some great numbers, and Vegas kind of going thin here on the line, 1.5. Well, it's at Dayton, which is unusual for the big school to go to the little school, but computer says 12, and well, that's plenty to cover that. So Vodtek's our play. Wofford's a good team. Coastal we've only got 4 or 5 finals on Coastal, so not totally sure about Coastal yet, but they are at home. Vegas given 2.5, and computer says 7. So Wofford's our play. This game, Baylor at home to Villanova. Oh, this game is going to be great. Almost as good as that Alabama Houston game tonight. 2.5 is the line, or 4.5 is the line. Computer says Baylor at home by 10. So that's our play. We're taking Baylor, our defending national champs. SIU Edwardsville hosting Kansas City, sometimes referred to as UMKC. I think they're changing that. I think they just want to be known as Kansas City now. But computer, or the Vegas line is 1.5. Kansas City laying 2. SIU at home. Computer says 69-68. So this is a tough call, but it is technically on the other side of the line. It is technically a money line play. So we're going to play it as a money line, and we say SIU Edwardsville to win at home versus Kansas City, and we'll collect our money line hopefully at the end of that. New Mexico home to UTEP. I'm surprised it was 1.5. I really am. Computer says 9, so I think that's a strong play. I think New Mexico wins and covers there quite easily. West Virginia at home just beat UConn at their place, and UConn is one of our monsters. So poor old Kent State's got to go there and try and beat them, something UConn couldn't do. The line is 11.5. This one has a 12-point margin, so it's right here on the half point. But I think West Virginia is going to beat Kent State by more than 12. So I think that's a pretty good play. No line yet on Northwestern and NJIT. I got it as a 24-point victory for Northwestern at home. Florida, Maryland on a neutral court. 4.5 is the line. 14 is what the computer says Florida wins by. So that's our play. Again, all the favorites winning and covering. It's a little too spooky. USC at home to Long Beach State. Computer says it's going to be a blowout. Computer likes USC a lot. 37 points. That's more than the 24.5 that Vegas says. So USC's our play. Lipscomb is they've got some pretty good numbers. Now you're playing Tennessee State, who's not. They don't have great numbers. They're at home. This game's in Nashville. I'm not sure where Tennessee State is, but I know Lipscomb's in Nashville. So I don't know. Is there going to be a big contingent of Tennessee State fans? Who knows? Who knows? 8.5 is the line. This is going to be a blowout. 31 points for Lipscomb is what the computer says. So that's a strong play there. K-State hosting Green Bay. K-State has been really good. I mean, they beat Wichita State last week. And who they beat? They beat someone else really good this week. So K-State's that's a good basketball team. Vegas is recognizing them 19 and a half, but Green Bay's coming out of a weak Horizon League. I don't think they're going to offer much resistance to K-State. 23, I think, is a good number. Again, the favorites winning, but I can make a case for every one of these things. So a little nuanced game here. UC Riverside at home to Cal Baptist. And I'm trying to figure out where Cal Baptist was. I thought they were in Thousand Oaks, but I keep seeing that they're in Riverside, which kind of gives them a little bit of a home court too. But I'm going to confirm that. I don't know why. I don't know I think it's Cal Lutheran I'm thinking of is in Thousand Oaks, but maybe Cal Baptist is in Riverside. If so, walk across the street and play the big UC school there. Vegas is given 6.5. Well, the numbers say Cal Baptist is a better team. Again, a little thin on the data with Riverside. Don't have a lot of finals from them, but that's another money line opportunity. So we're going to play Cal Baptist here on the money line. Monmouth, believe it or not, is really good. I'm telling you, they are really, really good. We're going to talk about them and Iona here in a minute, but Monmouth I think they're 10-1. And they're at Pitt, and Pitt is a good team, make no mistake, and they're tough at home. But Monmouth's really good. And Vegas is sort of recognizing that. They're giving Pitt a half a point at home to Monmouth, okay? There's a little bit of a wake-up call there. But computer says 14. That's how good we think Monmouth is. I don't know if I believe this play because I'm not on board with Oregon. They've been not good. I mean, their finals have been terrible. They got beat. I think it was 89-41 by BYU in a game in Portland. I mean, that's a 2.5-hour drive from Eugene to get to Portland. BYU had to fly there, So I'm not sold on Oregon. I don't know if someone's hurt or what, but the computer runs the numbers, and Stanford's not having a great year by any stretch either. And it says Oregon laying half a point, or Stanford rather laying half a point to Oregon at home, Stanford at home. And the computer says 69-62 for a 7-point victory for Oregon. So it is a money line play. I just don't know how I feel about it. I guess I just don't feel good at all about it. Okay, if you watched Alabama and Houston on Saturday night, you saw what a good team Alabama was, and they are really good. We got both Houston and Alabama in the top 10 on the scores our poll. We'll take a brief glance at that here in a little bit. Now, remember, Alabama's only loss was to Iona at home. That same atmosphere we saw tonight, Iona came away with a victory that night. So Iona is really good too. These two teams out of the MAC, the MAAC, Monmouth and Iona, they're going to be the class of that, and it's going to be a tough run to see who's going to get that automatic bid into the tournament between those two. So they got Yale at home, and Yale is actually a pretty good team too. And Vegas is saying 3.5. Computer says Iona by 10. Yeah, that's where Patino landed. He's at Iona. I mean, he's a good coach, I guess. He's not the most popular guy in the world, but he is a good basketball coach. All right, Seton Hall hosting Rutgers. Rutgers coming off of that amazing victory against Purdue. Rutgers they've got terrible numbers. What happened that night? Rutgers at home. That was really an amazing night. But Seton Hall's ready for them because Seton Hall's a monster. I'm telling you right now, they're top 25 good. Seton Hall's got some game. They're at home. Rutgers coming off that emotional high. Vegas is 9.5. Seton Hall says 21. Man, that's a play. You got to go play Seton Hall there. I mean, everything is adding up to that being just a real strong victory for them. UC San Diego on the road to Seattle U. Seattle U's favored here just because Vegas likes the home court. But San Diego with very limited data, probably 4 or 5 final. Computer has 5-point victory, so that's we're betting the underdog to win. So we're on the other side of the line. and that makes that a money line play. So we got 4 on Sunday to look forward to. Oh, the science project. So I did the science project tonight, and I went through and I gave every single home team 3 additional points, and it flipped 0 games. Not one game got flipped. So we're not going to learn anything about it tonight or Sunday. Because we can't glean anything from that. It's going to be exact same record as up here. So we're gonna put the science project on hold for a night until we can start flipping some games with our 3 points, and then then we can continue. But right now I'm on the fence. Like I said, these bad flips, there's nothing like working hard and earning something and then just giving it away. I would just feel miserable if I had to give away a good pick. Like I picked it the right way the first time. Then I did something I'm not totally comfortable with, and it ended up going away. Yeah, these coming back at me. But, I think what I say, 6 bad and 7 good for the 1 game difference. I don't know if that's something I can rely on. Now, like I said, the first time we did this, it was a 2-game swing, and the next night was a 1-game swing, and now this third night we're doing it, it's just another 1-game swing. I just don't know how I feel about it, and I'm leaning on not adapting this, but I understand that the home court is just a huge significant advantage. And just so we're clear, the computer does sort of give a home court advantage. It's kind of baked into the algorithm, and it's there, but it's not direct like I'm trying to do here, like trying to sweeten the pot in the favor of the home court, just because I know there is a home court advantage. Now, some teams have a greater home court advantage than other teams, so it would be really unwise for me to go, okay, Duke's at home, all right, they're getting 10, right? But SIU Edwardsville, they shouldn't be getting 10 at home, right? Well, okay, what number then? 3, 2? I mean, what do you give them? So I'm trying to find the sweet spot, that one number that will, you can apply to all. And that is not so arbitrary. If we've done the research and we've done our little science project, we can incorporate that into the prediction. And that would be, valid and legit. I'm going to do something here real quick. I don't like to do this, but I'm just going to show something here real quick that you might find interesting. And let's see, let's share. We're gonna share this. So this is the live spreadsheet. Now, every time I share it, it crashes, but this is how I do the predictions. So make sure this is showing. Okay, yeah, you can see it. So when I do these predictions, I put the team names in, games played, their OPR, which is this over here, their rating, points for, points against, and then I do the other team. Games played, their OPR, points for, points against, and then I run them through this little algorithm here I created. And see, there's a place here for me to put a home court advantage. I could put 3 points, I could put 10 points in there. I could put 15 points in there if I wanted to. But really, all we're doing is we're doing average offense, average defense. So, I had Gonzaga and the Huskies. That game got canceled due to UW's got some COVID issues. So, but on an average night, Gonzaga scores 85 points and allows 64. And on an average night, University of Washington scores 72 and allows 73. And I do a little crisscross here. So, okay, that's great. But what about when this offense meets this defense and vice versa? This offense meets this defense, and I come up with this number, okay? Then I divide OPR by OPR. I divide these numbers, and I get a little adder that's not pictured. And then I do a little adjustment, and then I spit out the final predicted score. I just round up, round up or round down. So 79.55 to 49.47 would have been the final here. You got to round that up and down, So this said Gonzaga would have beat UW 80 to 49. So that is how I do make these predictions. So there is some some science involved in that. I'm just not pulling them out, I'm just not pulling them out of my backside and trying to buffalo my way into, calling it a computer prediction. There is some legit computer stuff going on here. And let's see, we're back. Well, that's we've just a recap of the recap. 52 wins, 40 losses. Not ecstatic about it. It's positive. It's in the right direction. There is more data getting added, so we hope that this number increases as time goes by. 200 wins on the season, 169 losses, 54% overall, with our 17 money line plays that we've converted. So real quick, I'm just going to brush on this real quick. So this is not accurate, okay? Just forget what you see here. But we do have a ranking that's going on, and this is really what the Scores Our system is all about. And one day I'll describe how the Scores Our system works. It's quite fascinating. But it produces a number, a rating for each team. And since each team has a rating, we can then rank them, okay? So you saw Houston lose to Alabama by a point tonight. 1 point is not going to make a huge difference in the computer, okay? So if you're looking for Alabama to jump Houston up based off that 1 point victory, it's not going to happen. This is collectively just as, you collect the data and it's overall, it's taking a big picture look at we're not looking at the micro. This is looking at the macro. So how good is the team overall? So Purdue can go lose to Rutgers and not fall completely out of the top 10. There's things in here I don't like what I'm seeing. Texas has, for some reason, fallen all the way down to 16. I don't understand why. That's a top 5 team, no question about it. I don't know why they've fallen all the way down to number 16. I'm not comfortable with that. It doesn't make any sense. Villanova, Duke, these guys all deserve to be north of here. Here Tennessee just lost to Texas Tech, and Texas Tech, and I did have Texas Tech ahead of Tennessee, but now Texas Tech has fallen down to 18. I don't know why. So this just needs more time. It just needs more. Providence, God, Providence is a monster. They were way high. Michigan State at number 20, please. It's just that UCLA number 24. Get out of here. So that's why I don't want to talk about it yet. It's just not ready. It's not ready to be discussed. It just needs more info. So, but we'll talk about it later on in the year when this thing does hone itself and get really sharp and the numbers start to really reinforce what you see here, or what you see here is going to really reinforce the numbers, I should say, because this does get good. This gets very good. And as I like to point out, it rates every single team. And just for your knowledge, there are 358 teams in Division I college basketball, and it rates and ranks every single one of them. So you ever see these guys, Maine, Eastern Illinois, IUPUI, just bet against them. Don't even think twice. Never put your hard-earned money on these teams to win. Well, I guess that's it for the show. We did the preview for Sunday's action. If these lines change, I doubt I'm going to have time because the game's going to kick off kind of early. But I do like on a regular weekday, I do like to come back in, and when these lines move, sometimes I'll adjust and flip a pick. But I'm not going to have time. Tip-off comes pretty early. So we're just going to leave it like that for the night and take our chances on it. So hope we do well tomorrow. Thanks for checking this out. I hope to make this thing pretty interesting. It's going to get more interesting as time goes on and the computer gets more accurate. But I just wanted to get everything down on tape right now so I can back up these claims that I'm making. This stuff, it's all on tape. Every single bit of this, I can call up and show you the video. That's really why we're doing it, even though, we're not impressing many people so far, but we'll get there. Anyways, that's it, folks. I shall now bid you a fond farewell.